Hello guys. Welcome to I Heart Break You.
I never thought that it could happen to me, until it did. Now, don't get me wrong, I am no perfect guy or highly successful, but I had always dreamed and wanted that first love forever shit. And the worst part, I know the guy, and I spoke to him once or twice. Maybe, I think, I don't even want to remember. Sorry, I got a little tear in my eye as I am writing this. Back to the main story. So, I met her in the most unexpected way. One of those stupid movie moments that felt straight out of a romance novel. We met in college, at a local cafe, just off campus, where students usually just go and load their systems with caffeine. If you go to college, you would understand what I mean. She was standing in line, frowning, visibly annoyed at someone on the other end of the phone. So I want to be all sweet, and I approach her and all. May 7th. I wonder why I can't forget the date. She turned to me. We spoke about coffee, classes, and graduation. That was how it started. A simple exchange, an easy conversation that somehow led to hours of talking. She was different, effortless in the way. She laughed at my bad jokes. Not bad. I'm actually a sweet, funny guy. Our relationship felt natural, almost faded. We spent late nights studying together, holding hands under the table, sneaking kisses in the library when no one was looking. She was my first love, my everything. I had no doubts about her, about us. After graduation, we moved in together. It wasn't perfect. We had our fights, mostly about money and future plans, but love always pulled us back. When I finally proposed, she cried and whispered, "Yes," and I thought, this is it. My forever. But forever is a fragile thing. A really fragile thing. Then came the worst part, the marriage. A lot of people think marriage is beautiful. And yeah, it can be. But if you marry the wrong person, it's a nightmare. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she was all bad. Okay, maybe she was. But even if someone is a good person, that doesn't mean they're right for you. And we were not right for each other. I just didn't see it at first. At the beginning, things were fine. We were happy, or at least I thought we were. We laughed, we went on dates, we cuddled on the couch. It felt like love. Then, little things started to change. She stopped asking about my day. She barely looked at me when we talked. She used to hold my hand all the time, but now, it was like she didn't want to be close to me. And then came the fights. Not loud screaming fights. No, those would have been better. Instead, she went quiet. Cold. I'd ask what was wrong, and she'd just say, nothing. But I could feel it. That nothing sat between us at dinner. It filled the room when we were together. It felt like we were strangers living in the same house. Then, she started staying out late. At first, I didn't think much of it. She had friends, a life outside of me. But then she stopped answering my calls. She took forever to text back. She'd smile at her phone, but when I walked in, she put down fast. And then one day, I found out the truth. At first, I didn't want to believe it. My brain refused to accept what my heart already knew. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was just being insecure, that she wouldn't do that to me. She loves me, right? I thought about all the good times. The nights we stayed up late talking about our dreams. The way she used to look at me like I was the only person in the world. The promises we made, the future we planned. I wanted to hold on to those moments. To believe that maybe, just maybe, I was wrong. But deep down I knew. I had felt it for a long time. The distance, the silence, the way she slipped away little by little, until one day, she was just gone. And then, finally, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Because the truth was right in front of me, and it broke me. She was cheating. She had been lying to me for a long time. And the worst part, she didn't even seem sorry. What happened next will actually shock you. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Because the truth was right in front of me, and it broke me. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning something bigger, something worse. At first, I thought it was just about love. That she fell for someone else, got bored of me, and wanted out. That was painful enough. But then I started noticing things that didn't add up. The way she spoke to me like I was already the villain in a story she hadn't finished writing. The way she started throwing words around. Toxic, unstable, controlling. Words that had never been part of our relationship before. The way she suddenly started keeping records. Text messages, voicemails, conversations I never thought twice about. And then, the final piece fell into place. She and the guy she was cheating with had been planning this for months. But the craziest part? I think her lawyer was in on it too. The way he handled the situation, the way he just knew what she was doing and made it 10 times worse, was insane. It was like he'd been waiting for this moment. He wove himself into the situation so smoothly, taking her lies and twisting them into something even more dangerous. He knew exactly how to make me look like the bad guy, and he didn't hesitate. He took my words, my actions, things that meant nothing on their own, and turned them into something ugly. Suddenly, I was emotionally abusive. Suddenly, she was afraid of me. Suddenly, there was evidence. And just like that, I wasn't just losing my marriage. I was in a fight for my name, my reputation, my freedom. I wanted to believe people wouldn't fall for these nonsense, that the truth would come out. But we live in a crazy world, and in a crazy world, people believe the story that's told the loudest. And they were loud. So tell me, do I fight back, or do I take the only way out? One day, I sat alone in the dark, my hands shaking, my chest so tight it hurt to breathe. How did it come to this? The woman I loved, the woman I built a life with, she wasn't just leaving me. She was destroying me, and worse. She had planned it. She had smiled at me, kissed me, said I love you, all while knowing she was going to rip my life apart. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was lost. Because if she could do this to me, then what was real? What was love? What was I supposed to believe in now? I closed my eyes and whispered to no one. Why wasn't I enough? She didn't just walk away. She extorted me. Her lawyer, that snake, pulled out every trick in the book. He said they had evidence, fabricated, twisted evidence, that could implicate me and my family. He made it clear, if I didn't settle, they'd drag me through the mud. My name, my reputation, everything I'd worked for could be destroyed. The worst part, they didn't even have to try that hard. I was so terrified of what they could do, of how this could ruin my family, that I caved. I had no choice. So, after months of pressure and lies, we reached a settlement. I signed the papers, and just like that, it was over. I lost. I lost her. I lost my pride. I lost everything I thought was real. And in the end, I realized I didn't just lose a marriage. I lost myself. Well, that chapter of my life was over, and another was about to begin, and this one wasn't going to be any easier. I know what you're thinking, but hold on. I'll tell you. A year later, I met someone new. I wasn't looking for love, not really. But somehow, she found me. We hit it off right away. Conversations flowed, laughter came easy, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe again. I fell for her, hard, but just when I thought maybe, just maybe, I could finally move on, something didn't feel right. Before I go on, I just want to ask, am I cursed? What did I do wrong? I wasn't a simp. I just wanted to love and be loved. So what went wrong? The walls. Her family. They weren't just distant. They were against me. From the very beginning, it felt like no matter how hard I tried, I could never be good enough for them. The looks, the coldness, the whispers behind closed doors. It was like they already made up their minds about me before they even knew me. I kept asking her why. Why did they hate me so much? What did I do wrong? But it didn't matter. And then, her family didn't reject me because I was a bad person or because I didn't care for her. They rejected me because I didn't fit the life they had already planned for her. They had this picture in their heads of what her future should look like. A perfect image they'd crafted over the years. A stable, comfortable life. A partner who checked all the right boxes. Someone who could provide the kind of security they thought she needed. A life they could be proud of. A life they could control. And to them, I wasn't that person. I didn't come from the same background. I didn't have the career they envisioned for her. I didn't have the right connections or the right kind of success. I couldn't guarantee the kind of future they thought she deserved. And that terrified them. They never gave me the chance to prove myself. They never bothered to see who I was or what I could offer her. They were too caught up in their version of what her life should be to care about her happiness or her heart. She was supposed to marry someone who looked the part, someone who could blend into their world, someone who could meet their expectations. But I didn't fit. I wasn't part of their picture. One day, she stopped answering my calls, stopped texting back, like I never existed. So when she made the choice to marry someone else, it wasn't just about her love for him. It was about their vision for her life, a vision where I didn't belong. They pushed her to see it their way. And in the end, I lost not just her, but the future I thought we could have had. Well, that's my heartbreak story.
I'm so sorry to hear that you went through this heartbreak. It takes a lot of courage to share such a vulnerable story. I hope you found some healing and closure since then. Remember that you deserve love and respect, and don't give up on finding someone who truly values and appreciates you. Till next time, guys. I heart break you.